record, and we'll get jumping in here. So welcome, guys, to Jumpstart Your Month. This is a call. One, if you're new, we want to welcome you to it. If this is the first call you ever caught, welcome. We do this every single month. Ashley and I started this about, like 3 years ago. We started doing this because we realized, just like your health, inspecting where you want to be at, and really, of creating I'll mute you, Shirley, real quick. I always love hearing from you, but not when your phone's moving around. It's all good. The hair's on point today, by the way. Great job. Is taking an actual approach to what you're creating, and taking and stopping and doing that is one of the keys to this to your business and helping others. So we do this every single month. We have a little bit of a special edition. I'm going to set up Ashley to talk about that later, but let's jump right in, and let's jump in with the celebration. So guys, last month was our best month that we've ever had. The biggest group volume we've ever had, the biggest group volume Take Shape for Life now up to V has ever had. And I hope you guys take that as a huge congratulations of what we're doing together. You look around the call, you know what the lives are like that we're changing. I can see Sharon on my call, on our, I can see here. Let me see who I see. I see Jan on the call here right now. I know how much you've changed your health. That's the kind of stuff that we're doing in people's lives. And that's what this means when we put it all together. So, Dr. Ray put a piece about being transactional versus transformational, and it being our best month. And it was really cool to see what we're actually accomplishing. We're ramping up, and it's all going to culminate at National Convention, which we'll be talking about tonight. But just a quick congratulations in that point, is we had a lot of new rank advancements. So I want to congratulate our list of big thinkers. So these are all the people. So beyond going executive director, running your frontline volume, which is the volume of clients you support. Ashley and I kind of thought about a big thinkers club years ago, because it's more than just doing 6,001 because you need to get a rank done. It's more of being free and just not stopping what you want to create and helping more people. Ashley, I think you said it was the freedom to just start looking at your clients as clients and just literally building what you want as far as where your business needs to go, which we'll be talking about tonight. So all of these people in the Big Thinker Club are over 10,000 in frontline volume. They are not stopping at 6,000. They're not stopping at 8,000. So I want to congratulate all of you. And honestly, also just to prove a point of just how good, if you just get good at your craft, Don and Brian Chow, not that I would recommend running this every single month, over 20,000 in frontline volume. And that is literally a result of just becoming really good at the systems of what we do and supporting clients and bringing them on. So congrats to everyone in the Big Thinkers Club. Then also big congrats to new FIBC regionals, Dan and Jill. And then we had some new executive directors. Congrats, Arrow, Danae, Debbie, and Debbie. It was a D month for new executive directors. And then congrats to Elizabeth and Jeanette, who were Lynette, who were our executive directors last month. Nothing's more important than hitting executive director and building upon that when you hit it the first time. So that's why we wanted to put that in there. But we had some new directors, new associate directors. Literally, I had to move to multiple pages to get all the ranks, because that's how big of a month we had. So tons of new managers and tons of new senior coaches. So congrats to everyone here on the list. And sorry if I didn't get you. I know Opposite Motion doesn't always completely update in time. So if you're not on that list, my apologies, but congratulations. But I did want to say this is probably the most rank advancements we've ever had in a single month, but also something that was really cool, which really actually goes to show how well, kind of where we're evolving. I think this is the month where we've had more people come on in their first month, just skip over senior coach and go to manager and associate director in their first month. We actually had 2 people make executive director in their first full month this last month. So congratulations to that. That really kind of shows at the pace that we're moving at right now. We had new integrated national directors. So congrats, Christy and Billy and Andrea, new national directors, which is really, really exciting. So new leadership positions, that new ranks that we saw. And then new global directors, Denise and Frank Heinrichs. And so I thought it was really cool that, we want to celebrate all of these things, but I want to show you, I thought it was really cool that we have new global leaders in the house this month. Actually, there's been a new global every single month since the start of the year, which has been really exciting for us. It just shows where you can get to over time by just being consistent. But Denise's story is particularly special, and we're going to have her share another night, and you'll hear her on the leadership call in a few weeks to come. But literally looking at where she started in a wheelchair at 100 pounds overweight. And it just shows you that anyone can accomplish anything. Denise has a drive, but like looking at where she started from 10 or 9 years ago, I remember when I first met Denise, I helped her get around, and so did David Henshaw, who's the one that invited her to the event, get around in a walker. And now that's the kind of stuff that we're helping people change their lives with. And it really just shows you that anything's possible if you just take the steps in the business. So big congrats to Denise and Frank. So that's awesome. Ashley, anything you want to add on this stuff before we move on to like getting started on the topic tonight?
Yeah, so I am so proud of all the people that have grown. Well done. I know that none of this happened just like, oh, it just magically happened. Like you set a goal and you worked very strategically for it. So I'm very proud of everybody on that sense. The topic that we're going to be covering, I can tell you the difference when you embrace the topic that we're going to be about to teach all of you is really what makes the difference when you're looking at these people who are helping like a lot of people. So Denise and Frank their hearts are to help, as many people as possible. In order to do that, they needed to master the skill that we're going to teach you. So assuming that you're all here wanting to be where they are and keep growing, we feel like this is exactly the next thing to teach everybody, so that you have the skill set to accomplish that.
Yeah, and I think that moves into our special Jumpstart Your Month that I'm really excited about, which is when you look at these people here, there is no such thing as an overnight success. A lot of people think that, oh my gosh, they're so amazing, but they don't see all the work building up to her. And honestly, the biggest thing, just like we were talking about on the health level tonight, is that most people start shying away or reduce their action, or sometimes give up before they start seeing the fruit of the action that they put in. So I just want to share with you, there's no overnight success. It's just staying consistent on the things that we're doing and the activities that actually make the transformations in people's lives and make the transactions in our company. Because we'll be talking a little bit tonight about Dr. A, by the way, for those that are new, he's the person that created our company. He's a genius. And he talks a lot about transactional versus transformational and how we delve into both areas of those and how they're interconnected, which Ashley will be talking a little bit as we get into the topic of compensation tonight. So I just want to look at all these rank advancements as this is the process of moving forward. There's no secret success in it. It's just doing the steps. And what's also cool here as well, many of you guys, and you know who you are, hit personal records in your business. Just because it doesn't always culminate in a new rank doesn't mean you're any less, more, or better or different. It just is a different part of the process. And the closer you can stay dialed into your process and not look at anyone else besides inspiration and nothing in comparison, that's how you will move forward faster. That's how you will move along the path faster. And that's how you'll help more people and ultimately enrich your lives at a higher level. So congrats to all of you. You know who you are, who had personal records that didn't show up in a rank advancement this month. And that's huge. And this is actually a skill set of knowing your business. So, I mean, Ashley, anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, just want to get it started. We're dying to start.
All right. So as far as announcements, we just want to get one announcement out there. National Convention. I know it seems like July is a few months out, but this is the time to start making, locking this into your calendar. I've been surprised how many people, one, have already taken this up and have their team set and have their travel arrangements, and some people that are like, oh my gosh, that's coming up soon. So National Convention, this is your heads up. This literally, like as far as we're talking tonight about business building activities, we could share a million stories tonight, but if this paints any picture for you, we watched our family change their health for 4 years before we went to a national convention and decided this is something that we want to do. So come join us, mark this down in your calendars. We want to see you there. It's a great weekend. And so what I would start doing, like especially the topic of taking ownership and knowing your compensation and running your finances, start taking chunks at this. Like start doing your registration, start figuring out your flights, booking your hotel, and start looking at that for people that you want to join you there, because there's a direct comparison to how many people join you at national convention and where your business will go over the next year. And I just like to use our example. Like we didn't catch our vision until we went in and invested in ourselves and saw what was possible for this company. So mark down those dates. What's really cool as well, we'll see more information on this, but we actually, and I personally, because we feel how important it is, we're going to be giving away 3 registrations this month for national convention. So there's going to be a contest that we'll play in the Brash Miller page, the support page. Look for information on that. But at the end of this month, we want to give away at least 3 registrations for convention that will help people come there and see a larger vision and bring people with them. So that's the information for tonight. Ashley, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think like if we can just be real is like talking about this, like people who've already been, this is already on your this has been on your calendar for over a year. You probably registered last year for this. Like, you know, if you've been, you know how important this is. Okay, so I'm not like, you know. So for people who've never been to national convention, it is worth considering making this a priority. It's worth considering moving around things to get there. It's worth planning your childcare. It's worth budgeting for. It's worth just starting the thought process that this is a every year business expense in my Take Shape for Life business. Well, it'll be Optavia then. That's how profitable it can be to go to convention by what I'm saying, like how clear I'm saying this. The people that go hands down grow bigger businesses. So, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. The other thing is I hear people say like, I can't afford this, or it's expensive. But when I ask them how much it costs, they don't know. So I'm confused when people say that to me, because how do you know something's expensive, or how do you know you can't afford it if you don't know how much it costs? So with that being said, like, do your homework. How much does registration cost? How can you split the cost of a room? You can usually do like 4 or more people in a room, so you can be splitting the cost that way. How can you start looking for airfare? Like, how can you start doing ride sharing? There's really not that much cost when you really look at it. So I just challenge you, like, if you come to us and say that, I'm going to ask you how much does it really cost, because like I just had to do this with a family member about something else, and she laughed and she was like, "You little turkey." She's like, "You're right." Because she's like, "Oh, I'm sure it's very expensive." And I was like, "I never told you how much it was." And so I challenge you in this, if you don't do all this diligent work, I think you're going to be mad at yourself. And I really don't want you to be mad at yourself. I care too much about you for you to be mad at yourself. So that's all.
I love that. I wish there was a bunch of things. I want to say a bunch of things after that, but we'll keep it short tonight. Like you said, many people have it marked in their calendar. They're going. But if you're newer and you don't understand, like, you don't know what you don't know. So that's why we start hitting it at this level, because we want the best for you. We want the best for your future. We want the best for all the people that are on your heart. We want the best for your life and going forward and moving forward in every area of your life. So that's why we hit on it now. And the stuff we're talking about, if you're those people that are locked in, these are the things that you can share with other people about getting going. I think we actually did the math in most places. It's extremely cheap flights. So it's probably going to be somewhere between $800 and $900 or less to go to this event for yourself. And what's cool is if you invest in this, you will see basically a ripple effect on your business. Like for us, just to be like, I think we're in a season where we're just trying to be as bold and open with you in our lives as possible. If we didn't make the investment to go to national convention that first year, and Ashley, what's crazy about that is we almost didn't go. That small investment literally would have cost us, like if you guys are interested in this, it would have cost us over $2 million. It would have cost us every life that's changed in this group right here and all the people that have changed. And it would honestly it would have cost us personal growth, that where we are in our life and the relationships we have right now, we wouldn't have any of that stuff. So When you ask what the
There's
cost,
like 990 coaches that would not be coaches if we didn't go. And we didn't have money, and we were broke, and we didn't get paid time off, and we didn't know how we were going to get there, and we had less than a 2 weeks notice. I mean, all the excuses in the world, and none of you would be here if we had actually gone with those excuses. So you can put yourself in that position. What if you listen to your excuses, you may be costing the same thing. That would suck.
yeah. Hey, Ash, can you hear me okay? Someone said my audio is a little bit low.
I think your audio is a little low. Can you like scoot closer?
Let's see if we can make it any better. Is it any better now?
Yeah, it's just a little echoey.
How about now?
You're good.
All right. So we could go further on this topic, but we just want you guys to look at that, to take the time to put it in your schedule. In today's busy world, if you don't do it, it's something that you'll put off till later, and it'll be more difficult later on. Like we said, many of you are locked in, but this actually leads into our topic tonight, because if you've been focusing on our focus group, we hit last week on igniting wealth, which was really budgeting like a pro, and it actually struck more conversations with people at a deeper level that I think I've ever really had, and it woke people at a new level of their health, which is why we're having like the special editions of our Jumpstart Your Month. And the topic of conversation of convention actually bleeds into it. It's like, how do you approach things like that? How do you view your money? Ashley was talking about, like, do you just assume it's expensive and not know the cost? Like, is that something that's a concept in your mind that you approach things with? Because an abundance mentality will help you create more in your life, and also help more people in the process of doing that. So this is a really good setup to that. That's why we wanted to offer, prizes for that. So look in the Brash page for later, for we'll have that contest, so you guys can start, like, it'll be on all the things that'll help you reach more people and grow your business. But hopefully it'll end up with you guys with a free registration for a convention. And we'll throw out our other disclaimer. Go to national convention. This is literally how strongly we feel. If you don't feel like it was worth it, literally, you can just private message us and be like, it wasn't worth it. We'll refund your registration costs like 100%. So, but with that being said, we want to move into tonight's topic, which is setting up your month and really understanding compensation. Like we were talking about this last week in the focus group, we really talked about igniting wealth, and it opened up another level of conversations with people that, just on a whole nother level, which is cool because it connects all back to the health journey. It connects all back to how many people you actually get to impact with this process. So, basically I'll say it starts with this. If you haven't done it yet, or if you're newer, this is the map. This is your tool of how to take charge and organize this so it's easy for you to take care of your people. And it's also your template on how to grow your business and help more people. So if you haven't filled this out yet, all the way to the fullest, like a lot of people when they're getting started, they avoid the numbers up here. You're going to want to know these things. This helps you just understand who you're helping at a higher level. And if you haven't connected with your support team to let them know what your plan is, please do that. That is the pieces of success that you saw on that screen. No one on that screen, nationals, globals, integrated regionals, executive directors, help that many people without utilizing a tool to keep them organized, or else you'll hit a wall of what you can comprehend and what you can do. So number one is just fill out your map. If you haven't done this yet, or you're doing it for the first time, connect with your support team. There's a video that actually I did for the company that kind of explains how to do this. And this is your guide for your month. Use it and look at it daily. It'll help you move forward in what we're doing. But basically, actually, we wanted to talk further than just setting up your map and setting up your month through the topic of last week, and people just realizing that they're reaching more people, and maybe even taking this more serious at another level of how many people they want to reach. The topic of conversation of compensation has come up, and we have been actually blown away by how many people just didn't take the time to learn this. So will you explain a little bit kind of how we decided to expand on compensation tonight, and before we go into it?
Sure. So yeah, it was like different things kept happening in our mentorship this past week and the past month. Really was the topic about budgeting really struck a lot of people's chords, because now they feel empowered and they feel like money doesn't have to intimidate me. Debt doesn't have to intimidate me. I can get out from under this. I don't need to spend every dime I make. Like all these different revelations were happening, which was great. That's like what Brad is so good at. And he really brought it. So if you haven't watched that, I encourage you to. Maybe you don't need it, but maybe someone that you know does. And so, super helpful. And the amount of clients that this helped, but actually ended up happening was a ton of clients watched it. And for some reason, it resonated with them to reach out and say, I really need to start coaching. So that was great. For whatever reason, maybe it was because they were like, oh, I need to make more money. But a lot of them were like, I am realizing how professional you actually are. And this is actually a job, and I come from a professional background. And for me to do something, it has to actually be lucrative. Like I'm not a kept, sugar mama or, like I don't have my sugar mama or sugar daddy taking care of me. Like I'm not a trust fund baby. Like I actually need to make an income. I did not know that coaching actually makes good income. And so it attracted all these clients at a whole different level. And that's what we were hoping for. So it worked. With that being said, it also opened the door for a lot of coaches to come to us and say, I know I'm not stewarding my money well. And I also am not super proud of myself. As the CEO of my business, I'm sucking as a CFO. So like, I'm not showing up to the CEO as a chief financial officer. Therefore, like, does this make sense? Like, I can't really be the CEO if my CFO doesn't show up. And so as lovely as transformational dreams are, you can't pay your bills if you're not transactional. And I feel like the skills of being a transformational coach are bought by being an extremely well-versed transactional coach. Does this make sense? Like it takes both. You happen to be the CEO, you happen to be the CFO, you also happen to be the chief marketing officer, like you're everything. And so with that, we're not serving you by not teaching you these skills. It'd be like if you kept showing up to work and you're an employee and there was this bonus, then nobody would tell you how to get it. Like that's how I feel like it's been going. And it's frustrating for me because I know there's people here that are like, I would love to help more people. I have to afford to help more people. Like I would love to do more of this, but I have to afford to do more of this. And if we don't know how to teach that, and we don't know where our money comes from, we can't help those people. And maybe you're on the line and you're like, oh my God, that's me. Like, I'd love to do more of this, but I literally don't know how to do any more of this. Also, a couple things happened. Like we had someone miss an $800 $800 last month, literally just because they weren't tracking. We have people all the time hit $1,000 bonuses every 3 months on full, like you don't even, maybe you know what these are, maybe you don't, but there's like FIBC bonuses, and then there's rolling consistency health coach bonuses and blah, blah, blah. Like people don't know they're missing like chunks of money that are like very substantial. And so that's on us. Like we want it to be where there's like zero excuses, that if you missed it, you knew you missed it, not like, oh crap, I didn't even know there was one. And through mentoring a lot of people, we're starting to see that. Like we have people making over 60 grand a year doing this that do not know how much money they're making. And we told you on the budgeting thing, that's really scary because you're going to have to pay your taxes. If you don't know how much money you're making and you're not setting aside your tax money, that's going to suck. So here we are. This is how, to answer your question, this is how we got here. It was like through a lot of different avenues, but you're going to hear more about this from now on because it's our job to teach you this. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah. And so Ash, thanks for the setup on that. I wish I could expand on it further, but I want to get into the topic. But I will share with you one thing, kind of like what we talked about when we started the Ignite Focus group. Mentorship is a great skill and an art form and something that that gets taken for granted in this country. If something about this, because there might be new people in line, they're like, oh, I just want to help people. I haven't figured out compensation, and maybe you're having some kind of a concept with that. Compensation is directly related to how many people you're helping. So you should wear your compensation and how much you make like a badge of honor, because no one makes good money and takes shape for life without making a difference in a lot of people's lives. And the other reason why we're talking about this as well is because we've helped some people understand it further this last little bit, and that has upped their ante on, one, how clear they feel like they can be in this. Like, oh my gosh, I can do more without doing more. Like it's the same amount of effort. I'm just feeling more focused now, which ultimately helps them focus on the difference they're making in the people's lives. But also back to what we talked about in Igniting Wealth last week, how can you actually take care of your finances if you don't know how much you make? Like if you're trying to budget, and you don't know where your income comes from, how can you make this how can you have healthy finances in what we offer? So you might not be perfect at this yet, but we want you to understand it so you can start understanding it, because most coaches don't know that they're like this close to the next chasm of what can help them in this business, unlock next compensation. And it all leads to helping more people. So it's cool how it goes all around us. So I'm just going to jump into tonight.
Add to that, I was listening to, I was in Hawaii with our business coaches, David and Terry Miller. And something I heard Terry say on the line was they were in a room with like the top 10 business leaders in the company. And what she realized when she looked around, I mean, you put a name on it, like imagine who's in this room, right? Like David and Terry Miller and Dr. Anderson and Dan Bell and Doug and Tia Wood and blah, 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 right? What she realized was, and okay, here's my point on that. They're all helping more people than you could probably ever imagine. And you want to be them if you want to help more people, right? Like ultimately, they're helping the most people in the company. That's what that signifies. What it also means, though, what she realized was every one of those businesses had an extremely deep level of understanding on transactional business. And all of them had, if not one, but both of the people, like the partners, if there was a partner, some of them don't. But if there was a partner in the company, in the couple or whatever, at least one of them, if not both, were beyond clear on how to track all of this, and they track it every single day. So they help the most people, and this is how. There you go.
We could go on setting it up forever, but let's hop into it. But the last two things I'll say about it is that, one, we won't go into detail on tonight, but Dan Bell actually designed the compensation plan to literally almost be bulletproof on how it'll help you help more people. Like there's no free rides. We aren't an MLM. The people that do the work get paid. And that's the cool thing. That's why we brag about like how much we make, because we feel like we've done a great job of helping people. We want to see more of you doing the same. So there's a really cool thing there. We'll get into detail on it later. But here's the other thing too, is spending less time. Dr. Ray also talks about emotion management and being crystal clear on what you want and the architect of your life. Part of that component, because we all have goals and desires and clarity on where we want to be, income should be part of that, because it's only going to help you be more laser focused on what you're doing. I had a conversation with someone at the end of the month who was saying like they're literally on the verge of making integrated national and possibly global. But because they didn't understand compensation, their spouse came up to them and said, "You're not making very much money this month." And I had to say to them, "Do you know how much you're making?" And they go, "No." And I go, does your spouse know how much you're making or how you get paid? No. You just had an incredible month. You're this close away from this. Like this is like the difference maker. And just them not understanding was a waste of so much emotional energy and the waste of so many people's lives being changed that month that they could have thrown it possibly all away. because they just didn't know their stuff. So these are all things that we hope as friends and partners and just people that desire to do life at another level, like embrace the things that Ashley and I are sharing with you tonight, because this is like a mentorship piece that will change the trajectory of your life and what you're able to do. So without any further ado, we wanted to explain compensation, and grab a piece of paper, because I'm literally going to take some time tonight for you to start doing some math for on your business, so you can understand. When you understand, and I'm a Shark Tank person. Mark Cuban always says is to know your numbers, is to know and live and breathe your business. So you want to know these things. And there's 3 ways you can make income on our business. And here's a clue. They all lead to helping more people. It all leads to your map. And honestly, you should be putting on your map every month how much you plan and want to make. And you should also plan and put on what you want to make soon. And again, you should wear that as a badge of honor. But there's 3 ways you can make client support. And it's like a buffet. Sorry for the bad analogy there, but you can figure out how you want to make your income. Choose it. You might be a little bit more client focused. That may be your jam. You maybe want to be more coach focused. It doesn't matter. When you understand the building blocks, you can pick and choose which way you want to build your business. But there's client support, or bonuses that you can receive through different avenues, and team support. That's the 3 ways we get paid in what we do. So I made this sheet because literally I enjoyed every conversation, but I was exhausted from explaining compensation over and over again, and people being like, oh my gosh, if I only knew that, like I wish someone would have told me sooner. Oh my gosh. So explaining how the things work, this is up in the Brash page, so you can use it as a quick reference. And again, disclaimer, this is just round numbers. I rounded to like the next $10 or whatever that made it a round number. It expresses the highs and the lows and explains how you get paid. And these are the 3 buckets. We get paid in client support, bonuses, and team building. Here at the bottom, I kind of express like all the different incomes you should make at each level, so you can see like a lot of people don't realize like just by helping 3 more people that they would double their income. If I had a nickel for every conversation I had about that last month, I'd be even, like we would be making even more income, and this would be awesome even on top of what we're talking about right now. So just understanding where it comes from so you can be more laser focused on your action steps, because we all just have 24 hours in a day. So, but looking up here real quick and understanding that as you help more people, you can kind of look at like the points that you make for each level of compensation for client support, how many people that roughly is, the volume at each level that supports that, and then how your percentage goes up, and then how your 3% bonus goes on top of that. So if you haven't got really familiar with it, as a certified coach, you make 18% as a base as you're getting started, and then every rank you go up on that, you make that percentage going forward all the way up to 31% as an executive director. And the first thing I ever resonated with when Terry was talking about this, Terry Miller, as we got started, is if the company is going to pay 31%, why wouldn't I go help more people and make a higher percentage on what I'm already doing? It's just easier. And by the time you're supporting a few more people, it doesn't feel like you're doing any more work to do that. So to kind of show you here, like just to kind of get this, is as a senior coach, you're making between $300 and $550 a month, bare minimum. But what's cool is you just help a few more people, and now your average goes up to like 600 to 900. And this is the way I would encourage building blocks of this business. You want to come in and you want to help your first 8 clients or so, you or someone that you bring on. And you want to make that $800 to $900 a month in your first month. That's what you make if you come on in your first month and you help 8 clients with your CAD bonus and all that. So help someone make $800 or $900 a month. Then you move up to associate director, and the income like goes up a ton more after bonuses and everything like that. You're making around that $1,000 to $1,300 average. And this is just client support, mind you. And then at executive director, you're probably making close to $2,000, $1,900 is the minimum a month just by scraping over the line. But you don't have to stop there. Like we talked about the Big Thinkers Club, and then the big thinking person that's even over $10,000. They're making between $3,000, $4,000, and sometimes $5,000 just from the one bucket of compensation. So like Ashley and I each month, just because that's where we do, that's where we practice, that's how we still support people today. $5,000 to $6,000 of our compensation comes directly from client support because we do it. We have built that up. So this is one of the buckets right there. Bucket 2 is bonuses, and I'll go over that. Bucket, go ahead.
On that, something that we people didn't know is we learned that people didn't know, so we'll teach you. At the executive director level, on a client that's on 5 and 1, you are making about $110 per month for coaching that client. So we've had people thinking they were making like $50 or $60 at ED on a client. No, you're making like over 100. Just heads up.
So at the ED level, so what Ash is saying is you make $100 and probably $110 per client that you're supporting. And knowing this, because that was the same aha with that person that was like, oh, yeah, it's about $50 if I bring on a client. Now try 110. And every month that they order after that, that you're helping them on their journey, like that they're doing well. So like understanding that stuff is super helpful. And I'm going to go into some of the other conversation, but just seeing how these 3 buckets work, I want you guys to see, and this is something that people miss all the time, is that they don't realize that they're building momentum towards what's next. A lot of you are making $1,500 to $2,500 a month, not realizing that you're not focusing on the activity that's going to essentially help more people, but you're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from like an established executive director mark where you're making more like $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And I would want to know that if I was in your shoes. I did want to know that when I was in your shoes. So like people don't realize they're just literally like 2 months away from that and on the right activity. So because when people don't know that that's what's possible, when you know you're only making this much money for this much work, people don't realize that by not doing more work, but by doing the right action, you can help more people and increase your income, maybe even double and triple going forward on that. And even more over time, because it kind of catches up later on if you have the gusto to go in and do the supporting of the people and actually get to that large level. So that's some of the stuff right there. And if you have questions, by the way, in the chat, go ahead and type it in, or things that have like helped you on this. But so let's talk about client support. I wanted to talk with you guys on that. I'm trying to be mindful of the chat as we go through here real quick. Let's see here. I did search the quick reference, found it attached to the post. All right. So let's see here. Yes, I will repost it in the page there, but yeah, it's on a post there. So so people are saying that they can't find the document. I'll make sure it's uploaded again there for quick reference. I mean, you also, by the way, if you go to your back office and click on compensation, there is a compensation plan. It's the whole detailed out. It's where some of my images are coming from tonight. So I just made a document to kind of like just be a quick reference for coaches as they're growing. Like there's obviously more income than what I put on that, but that's basically for anyone that's growing their business to an FIBC level, like a newer coach style. It'll help you move forward on this. But in that compensation sheet, it explains like how your income grows and how your percentages grow per rank. This honestly is very accurate, but it's a little bit confusing to me. Like I look at all those numbers and I don't really get it. So that's why we did it like this down below, where it literally says you make 15% for getting started. As senior coach, it goes up 10% or 5% more, and then it's 2% every rank after that until you get to 28%, and then you can add another 3% on top for being certified. So if you remember anything, is that it goes up as you move up in rank, and at executive director and being certified, you make 31% of what your income is. So you can do the math on that. And I would like you guys to all take a break real quick, because if you don't know your numbers on this, I would highly encourage you to. And if there's one last fact I would like to give you, some people come in and they're like, oh, I just want to help people. And if you have people that come on your team and they're saying that, embrace them. But I'll just let you know, I've had people come on and they're all about the people and they don't embrace the numbers. And what happens is over time, they don't help anyone. They end up leaving and not getting this because they don't get this part down in their business. So if you're one of those people, this will help you on this. So take like 10 seconds real quick and do that math real quick and figure out what you made on your frontline volume last month at your rank. You can find yourself on here real quick. You should know your volume and just real quick figure out with me what you made last month on your compensation for just your frontline volume.
Can you walk them through how to find that in their Office in Motion? Because I don't think people know how to do that.
Okay.
So actually, I'll show you one way to do it. So if you open up a tab and go to myofficeinmotion.com, log in. I'm not going to show you my screen. I can't. So go to myofficeinmotion.com, log in, and then here's just an easy way to do it. Up at the top, you should see it says like your name, and then it'll be like whatever your current rank is, and then highest rank, total PV, blah, blah, blah. On the far right, there's a blue arrow that says go to previous month. Right there, it should tell you at the top, that's the rank you were at. So remember, that's where you're going to look for your percentage. I don't know if you're certified or not. Most of you are.
You can find yourself along here where you were at as far as rank and if you were certified, and you can figure out where you're at. It's going to be one of these numbers on
And
here.
and then go down to where about the middle of it, it said like it goes highest rank, total PV, total GV, total FLV. That's where you're doing your math. So write down what was your FLV, what was your rank, and then look at Brad's thing and figure out the percentage that you are earning on that number. And then like let us know if you have questions on that, right, Brad?
You can type it in the chat or just come off mute. If you have the question, like honestly, we're a safe place where we want to learn and grow. So if you have the question, come off, because at one point
I don't expect you guys to know this stuff. I didn't. I remember I was adding up my paychecks like in the commission, because there's another spot you can see commissions, and we were new, and I'm like, Brad, the weekly checks don't match the monthly checks. Wouldn't the weekly checks be the monthly checks all added together? Or I mean like the opposite. Wouldn't the monthly check be the weekly check added together? And he's like, no, those are all different checks. And I was like, oh, I mean, and this was months in. So don't feel bad. Like, you're learning. It's fine. I didn't know.
So does anyone have any questions on that? Yes, no. You guys all like, so like,
I guess we all know how.
you guys all know how much you guys made on your frontline volume last month? Okay, all right, sounds like everyone's got it. And what's cool here is find out where you're at on this. Like if this helps you move to the next level. If you've been a manager and you're like, okay, great. Like just one of my buckets of compensation, I made like $800 last month. If you help your next set of people, you're going to be bumping up to an average of $1,400 to $1,750. If you keep along the path, like executive directors can be 2,000 more and above.
What's my set of people?
What's that?
You said when you help your set of people, your next set of people. What does that mean?
When you help your next few clients get started, like you can actually look over here. There's not a big difference between director and executive. It's 4 clients, but it's almost $500 in average of income that you're missing out on just by helping a few more people. Plus just the cascade of what's coming in. Those are people that can refer people to you. So people miss out on like the bare basics. They're just sitting there. They don't realize how easy the next step is. So you can kind of figure out, and then what you made last month, but also as you do this month, and if you're going to be running your finances like a pro, figure out how much money you want to make on this, which is like how many people you want to help and how much time you want to allocate to it. So does this make sense for you guys? Like understanding this, and like Jen, you're on my screen right now. Does this help you kind of understand where it's all coming from?
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
And I'm 3 years in, so.
And yes, you've done a great job and you're a great health coach.
Thank you. So when we're looking at this, this is the weekly checks that we're getting. So I understand how to calculate the 31%. When we look in our compensation and Office in Motion, where are we seeing these numbers?
Oh, Lindsay, I love you for so many reasons. All right. So this is a question that a lot of people get asked. So you see how it says 15% here? That's your 15%. Everyone makes 15% as a health coach. You come in, you make 15%. That's what's getting deposited into your check account weekly. So whatever your order is from Wednesday to Wednesday, that's what is getting deposited into your account. All those other bonuses, your certification, every rank advancement, all of these ones, that's getting added to your end of the month. But the way you want to look at your month, any smart CEO would look at their business like this, because I hear this all the time. Oh, well, I made this much money in that month, but then I got this paid on my bonus month. No, you did this much work in a month. You got paid this much work for a month. It just comes in differently between your weekly checks and your bonus checks. So you want to know what you make as a whole for your month, because you had expenses that went out that month. You want to know how much you made from the work you did that month. That's the best way I can teach you guys how to run this as a CEO of your finances. So that is a great question, Lindsay. So in your Office in Motion under compensation, when you go to weekly, your weekly checks, that's your 15%. There's a little tab in there that says weekly versus monthly. And then all of your bonuses will fall into that, like your executive director, all the ones that go up in percentage, and your certification bonus, that will be included in your monthly check. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
All right. I love that question. It's so good. Like, so that's perfect. So that's why you want to look at. So does everyone know how much they made just on their client support last month? Did it blow your mind? Because, you know, even everyone has issues, like Ashley was sharing with it. Dawn didn't know that there was an actual weekly compensation added on top of what it said monthly. She was like, oh, that's my month. That's what I got paid. And I'm like, no, add your weekly to that as well. So understanding this is super helpful for people as well. So Ashley, anything you want to add to this before I move on to the next bucket?
Remember this in your head, because you're gonna need to remember this for bonuses. So like, if I tell you that now, you'll kind of capture it, because we need to know this for bonuses.
That's why we make a great team. So what did you make this month on your client support? I'm very proud to tell you we made $5,000 just from our client support last month. That's a lot of people we're helping. And so figure out what you make and actually know that that's what's actually maybe ahead for you if you keep along the path of what you're doing. So the next bucket is bonuses. There's multiple bonuses you can achieve. And so I just grabbed some more verbiage from the compensation basic document in the back office.
Oh, that's what I was going to add for you, hon. One of the things that so I'm very like step by step, like just give me the steps. So here is how to find the actual compensation document. Go to your Office in Motion, just like you did before. In the blue bar in the middle is a hover over the word that says compensation. That's where you see commission statements. That's what Lindsay was talking about. So there's that. And then it's integrated compensation plan PDF. That's what Brad's talking about. So if you need to know, that's where it's at.
You can also ask your support team, because if you're learning it for the first time, they want to help you understand it. But that's where your document is in your back office. So thank you, Ashley, for laying that out. So what I have here is there's bonuses that you can achieve. There's health coach consistency bonus. There's a client acquisition bonus if you're a new coach, or an assist bonus if you're helping a new coach. There is also FIBC rolling bonus. So what I did here, and like you're trying to figure out where your income comes from, is are you planning on helping a new coach this month get started? So beyond just what you'll make with them by helping them get their business started, if you help them get a good start and help their first 5 clients, you're going to get a $100 bonus. So many of you guys, like, it's your goal to help 2 people this month get a good start of your business. That's $200 on top of what you're already making by just helping someone do what they're already doing. And then you can also track this. I can't tell you how many people don't know when their bonus month is. And I really would encourage you to know this if you're planning your finances. When does your bonus month fall? You should know your bonus month so you can plan on it. Every 3 months, just for being certified, you're going to get a bonus of either $250, $500, or $1,000. And that's all based on your average of your frontline volume. So $250 bonus just for being between 2,000 and 4,000 in frontline volume. A $500 bonus if your average is between 4,000 and 5,999. There we go. And a $1,000 bonus if your average frontline volume is over 6 every single month, as long as you don't drop down below 2. I had someone last month that missed out on $800 because they weren't integrated enough to know their compensation, and they were 2 clients away, and they missed out on $800. That's a pretty good motivation to go find to help 2 people. You can make the time for that. And so what's cool is over time, if you can move forward to that compensation, you're radically changing the amount of compensation you make at that level. So just knowing that, and as you're building, people miss that this is the chasm that you're closing in on. FIBC is having 3 or 5 senior coaches or above. And just additionally on top of that, you're going to make $1,000 bonus on top of that. So you can basically pick and choose your income on what you want to make on that. Ashley, anything you want to add to these bonuses? Like, pick and choose and know where your bonuses are at.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a lot of money. Like, you're talking about, hang on one second. I got to turn this down. I've got Witten with me. Okay, so if your boss was like, if you do this and you keep track of it yourself, I'll give you $4,000 more at the end of the year, you'd probably do it. So every person, I shouldn't say every person, almost every person we've asked in the last week, when is your rolling bonus month? Did not know. So they're just like, I guess they don't need $4,000. I don't know. I didn't have that luxury when I started this. So I don't know how that's possible. So seriously, The other thing, like Brad said, the person that missed out on 800 is because they weren't watching this, that they 2 months in a row had averaged had gone over 2,000. On the third month, they did not hit over 2,000. They were like $300 away from hitting that. When you go below 2,000, you wipe it all out. You don't get to play the average anymore. You're just totally reset. So I don't know where you need to keep track of this, if it's on a whiteboard in front of you or what, but like track when you got your bonus. Can I like walk through how to find your bonus?
Yeah, go for it, Ash.
Okay, so here, let's do this. This is so important. Like yes, okay. So happy for you guys. You're gonna do great.
Because Jan just asked, how do you find out where your rolling bonus is at and where it started?
Let me show you. So we go to the Office in Motion, okay? So everyone log into your Office in Motion. Same tab I was showing you before. On the blue bar in the middle is compensation. And then right at the top is commission statements. And then make sure, okay, so it says commission statements, and then there's a little box, and it'll either say monthly or weekly. Make sure that that thing says monthly. So put your commission statements on monthly, and then it says commission period, Tuesday, 28th February, and then you go to the right, it says total commission, and then it says certification bonus, then it says client support bonus, and then it says health coach consistency bonus. That box, when is the last time it showed a number, whether it's 250, 500, or 1,000? If you don't see it in February or January, go down to the gray box that says previous 3 months and then try to find it. Like mine didn't show because it was in December. So I had to go back to find it. So find when your last one was. So that's if you're making them. Hang on one second. Something's echoing. You got it, Brad?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So here's the next thing. If you're not sure if you're eligible, how, Brad, for them to track their like when's, like, are they hitting over 2,000? Like, can you talk about how to track that?
Oops, Wendy started sharing her screen. And get my screen back.
But yeah, don't share your screens. We can't see your we don't want other people to see your stuff.
All right, here. So let's do this real quick. Actually, this will be a good, like here, like, let's see here. So this right here, so like it wasn't our health coach consistency bonus the last 2 months. It would show up right here in your compensation on that. That's what it would be. And that's where you can see it. And you can also see where your FIBC bonus, like that's where you can see in your back op. It'll show you what month it is because it shows up right on there on where your information is on those pieces. So you can see which month it actually was and start tracking backwards on that. So that's how it breaks down on that. But you can know where you're at. So like this month, you can start planning it out. Like, are you on the cusp of 500, but if you increase your frontline volume and help more people and increase your income, would you actually bump up to $1,000 bonus? Like, hats off to Bonnie on our team. Like Carlene, you hit her up with a heads up, like you were one client away from starting one client and bumping up to $1,000. So at the last day of the month, she made an extra $600 by helping one person because Carlene was cognizant of where the bonus was at for Bonnie. Like, it was super awesome. So actually, anything else you want to add on that?
You hit the main, that's another huge thing is like, if you don't track yours, you're not going to track your team's, and your team needs this income to be able to do this job. And so we want everybody to, like, we don't want to lose our families. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we want as many coaches to be in the family, but in order to do that, this has to be lucrative. Like, we have to track these things for our teams. They are not capable of doing this yet. We show them how, but it's still our job to track it.
Yeah. So look at this last month. What did you make in this department last month? So you can add that to your frontline volume compensation.
Yep.
And what's cool here, here's the gap that most people don't see, is going from ED to FIBC, you're basically moving from an average of like the bare minimum ED, like 2,000, to like an average of like $5,000 as an FIBC, and your business is way more solid. You're adding an extra $1,000 bonus every 3 months, so now you're making a $1,000 bonus every basically, instead of making a $1,000 bonus every third month, now you're just not making a $1,000 bonus every third month. It's a huge, massive switch in people's businesses on that. So just understanding that is helpful. So these are different places where you can add that up or where you can strive to get to, which will change your income. And then the last piece is,
I don't know if people know, real quick. Did you want to talk, should we talk more clearly what FIBC means? Because I mean, that could be super foreign.
well, Jan's nodding her head. So let me go to my next slide and I'll show that here. So FIBC is where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs of senior coaches or above. So what it would look like here is like you have this person, leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, leg 4, leg 5 are all senior coaches and above. You've helped them come on. You've helped them start their first few clients. By the time you get here, you're probably helping someone move towards executive director. But it's 5 legs of coaches. And the person, like for instance, like say you sponsor someone that sponsors someone, this person could be your senior coach in this leg. You see how it's a leg? It could be 20 people down. It's a leg of business. So that's what FIBC, it's 5 legs of senior coaches and above.
And what's the front line need to be?
Frontline needs to be over 6,000. So basically, an executive director level of frontline volume business.
So you can have all those legs, but if your personal client volume is not over 6,000, you're still not hitting it.
Yeah, I mean, you're still making income on your team. It's good, but you're not FIBC. You're missing out on a huge chunk of money. And here's the genius behind Dan Bell's compensation plan. If you're not running over 6,000 in frontline volume, like let's just say hypothetically, because no one's doing that here, like no one's on this line is missing FIBC just by volume. But if you weren't, how would you help your team move forward? You wouldn't be doing the action steps by leading by example. So beautiful layout of how we get paid. Even the leaders still to this day are running frontline volume and helping clients. It keeps us sharp. It's part of what keeps us authentic. Like Ashley and I don't stop helping clients. Like it's just how we do it. So Jan, does that answer that? Like that you're on my screen right now. So does that help you? Like that's visually. And I put a 6th leg because just the way you want to intelligently build is don't do with bare minimum. You want to work with people that want to do this. You're not begging people to become coaches. You're doing it because it enriches their lives. So you want to be working with 5 is what gets FIBC done, but you want to be doing more than that with people that want to do this. Like that's the ultimate goal. Like never work with minimums in your business. So, but structurally, that's what FIBC looks like. So I'll come back to this. But the third compensation is your team support. And some of you have such large team, you literally can't calculate this, but I want you to at least get an example of this. There's 2 ways you make income on your team. And for those that are newer, I don't want you thinking like, oh, my support team is making income off me. They get paid when they help you be successful. Part of, again, the genius of our compensation plan is no one makes income for just signing up a coach. You have to identify and qualify that they're people you actually want to work with and that are going to actually go out and make a difference in people's lives. So if you've been sponsored, take it as a huge compliment. But you will make income in 2 ways on team building. Is 1, you will make a difference in compensation from your rank to where they're at on their volume. So like this is this piece right here out of the compensation piece in the back here. And some people might need to ask us questions, or if you have questions, you can pop off mute. But let's say Jan, you're an executive director. I can see you on my screen right now. So right now you can go over to this piece in the back office in the compensation guidebook. You're an executive director. If you bring someone that's a health coach, you make 12% of their volume. It's going to be a higher percentage on a lower number because you're still spending time with them getting started. They're learning their skills. You and Carlene are going to be helping them. So as they progress, you're going to make so when they move to senior coach, you're going to make 8%. But now you're making 8% on a higher number of volume. So as they advance in rank and they make more compensation, you're going to make less percentage, but it's actually about the same amount. So the way I express this to everyone, I think is a really easy way to understand it. If you're an executive director level coach, you're going to make about $120 to $200 on every person on your team that's below the rank of executive director. Is that helpful? If you have 3 coaches on your team and they're probably senior coach and above, you can pretty much count that you're making around $150 per coach because you've helped them get a good start in their business. They didn't just buy a kid and not help anybody. Does that make sense? So you can go do the exact compensation, but I want everyone to stop right now and to like think about this. Like Jan, I can see you on my screen. You've helped Sharon get a great start in her business. So go figure out how much that you got compensated for helping her do that. You can actually go check that right now. And so everyone do the math, pick someone on your team and figure out where you're at on this guide and then how much income you made on someone that's below the rank of executive director in your business.
Good idea, Brad.
And literally, guys, don't just be like, oh, great, I'll do it later. Literally do this. It'll blow your mind.
Because we're going to show you now. So if you go like, you're the top person. So you're the person on qualified rank on the green at the top. You go across to you. Then on the left, on the team rank, you go down to where they are. Is that okay? So that's how you find it. And then the cross section, so you find you, like you go find you, and then you go find them, and then that's the percentage. That's the percentage that you make on, and Brad explained it's their group volume.
So you guys can do this as many people as you want, but I think the point why we wanted this is we did this with someone last week and they were like, holy cow, we got paid that much for helping that person get a good start. Like they had no idea. They're like, we're gonna go sponsor more coaches. Like they
thought the amount of time that it was taking to work with the coach, which was like not that much time, they made like between 300 and 400 on this the way that this one was set up. And they realized in order to reach the earnings that they need for their family, it's so much more, it makes so much more sense in their time to be using it to be building coaches. Of course, they're still going to have their clients. That's not even a question.
Hey, so Allison had a question.
Yeah.
So Allison, so what you do is anyone below the rank of executive director, for instance, Allison, you're a big thinker. You're way above executive director. You're here at this executive director mark. So pick any coach on your team. Like, I think you had a new manager on your team last month, or any one of your senior coaches. Go down here and you can be like, all right, pick one of your senior coaches, find their group volume, and you made 8% on their group volume. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised with the time you spent helping that person get their business started. Dan Bell's a genius. We're about to go to a convention in a few months. Give him a big hug and say thank you.
So now you can start to see that, okay, so somebody said, I didn't realize that 2/3 of my income is from my front line. I remember thinking in my head when our front line brought in more income than our coaches, I was like, oh, I wonder what that'll be like the day that I'm compensated like more on team than frontline. I just did the math. I think for our income, my frontline was 11% of my income. So it was worth building a team. And we have that high of frontline. So I'm just saying, like, I remember when it was like neck and neck and I was like, oh, which is going to be more? And then so much more came from team.
And this is why you make the jump. Like you have no idea, like when you get this going, like I have a picture here of national, global director and presidential bonuses. It starts catching up big time if you're willing to do it. I mean, one, we make great money very quickly in this by helping clients, but it can catch up like really quickly as it starts to come together, because on top of your teams that will start growing, you start making leadership bonuses, 0.5% for national director, 0.5% for global director on top of that, and 0.5% for presidential director. So if you're starting to build sustainably, not only are you making that income, but all of a sudden you're starting making additional percentages on your whole group volume over time. So like, yeah, anyways, I remember being blown away by being at Sundance.
Like, just do the math. Say you have $1 million organization and you're a presidential director. What's 1.5% of 1 million? that would be your presidential bonus. Just your bonus. That's it. That's one slot of your bonuses. Does this make sense?
And Ashley, I'm glad you used the big number there, because some people are like, oh, $1 million, I'll never be there. Yes, you will be. Like maybe some of you aren't exactly desiring that, and that's maybe not. But honestly, over time, the reason why there isn't more presidentials and global directors is because they don't understand this and they don't stay long enough. You will get there if that's the case. So this is what you're investing in over time, and it all catches up. So, David, you asked a great question. I'm honestly, guys, if I could just say one thing, I'm most thrilled with tonight that we can just be honest and open with people. Like, people are asking questions, and like most people just don't ask questions in a group setting. That's how comfortable. We all just want to learn this at the highest level.
Real quick, on the group volume thing, for people to be like, oh, $1 million, blah, blah, blah. You don't know who's going to sponsor a runaway leg. You don't know.
Guys,
like, Doug did not expect Dan Valentine to be a runaway leg, but where do you think a huge chunk comes from? He didn't expect Gina Eccles, who was like, what, an elementary school teacher or something? Like, what did she do? I don't even remember. I don't even know. Wouldn't expect $1 million business from her. So you don't know what's going to happen. You just do, like, in all reality, you're just like, I do my job and this stuff does happen. So I need to know this stuff.
So David had a question. So I'm assuming you're talking about what the difference is. So assuming you are the same rank or higher. So if you're lower in there, but David and Susie, you're well above executive director, you're going to make a percentage on any one of your team that's below executive director. So that's one way you make the income. I didn't even get to the big thinking kind of way, is when someone reaches the rank of executive director, you make 2.5% of their entire business. So hopefully that answers your question, David. But if you're the same rank, technically you would probably be about the same or higher. But as an executive director, you will always make income on your team's business, no matter if they're a global director or you're an executive director. Like, the levels of depth will change possibly if you're really not working your business and someone below you is working at intently, like at a higher level. That's the beauty of what Dan Bell did. Like, the people that do the work get paid, and it creates incentive for people to want to actually do the work. Like, no one just sits back and collects a check and takes shape of life. I think that's immensely cool about what we do. The income potential, but also the integrity potential of it is pretty amazing. So, but to the other side of compensation here, and I'm glad you guys did that on that one, so you guys can see what you're making on your team as you're raising them up to ED. But over here, you make roughly, I just like to use this as a gauge, because it takes a long time to move outside of your levels of compensation. Like, Ashley and I've been doing this 8 years, and there's only 2 levels of business that we don't get paid on. And we have a large business, so like, if that gives you any indication of it. You make 2.5% of your business of people that are ED and above. Ashley and I decided to go to a birthday party about 7 years ago. We met a gal that knew Don and Brian Chow. We're very happy to say that because of Don's decision and all the people we've helped, we make over $10,000 in that line. You think that was a good decision? Do you think that was incredible? You don't know who's going to run away with this. And so when you know this stuff, you can intently do the work that's going to change the lives and encourage that action in your business. So, so just knowing that, so do the math on that real quick. Do you have an executive director on your team? How much are you getting paid on them? Do that math real quick. If you're not there yet, just think about what it'll be like when you're there, because you're going to be there shortly. I'm going to check the chat real quick. Oh, and just so it's not just one-sided, Don, on that, we're very happy to say that we make Dave and Terry over $40,000 a month on our business. I think everyone wishes they had a son like me. But they deserve that money. They spent the time to invest into us. Like, I can't tell you enough that Dave and Terry earned their paycheck. So anyways, now you see what you're making frontline, and hopefully you can see what's next for you. Now you see
that you said that, hon. That's so funny.
What's that?
I just think it's so funny.
What about that? I'm gonna get that everyone wishes they had a son like me.
Probably such a headache because they have to figure out how to spend, because we're frontline to them, so they're like, oh, how are we gonna do our taxes now? They keep growing. Dang it, we have to keep buying houses.
Payback for how much? Well, and here's I don't want to. There's so many different directions. Allison and Dawn, you just spent time with them in Hawaii. Are they not more than generous with the income that they receive? They want to embrace people that have this kind. They want to awaken people to this kind of possibility in their life. So that's honestly the whole heart that wraps it all around. So we've gone over client support, bonuses, and now team. So you either make income on the rank difference below executive director, or 2.5% or more through, or just a little bit below on your entire team at that level. So that's why you want to focus on doing this, is building legs of business. So if you're sitting here right now, the one thing we wanted you guys to understand tonight is that many people, and I've had so many conversations, they're sitting here at like blended path executive director. Maybe on their bonus month, they're crossing the line like $2,500. And we're not like, no one's upset about that. Like, that's a good income for putting in a part-time. I mean, are you serious? Like, I'm not even going on a tangent there, but you don't realize that by just getting a little bit more laser focused and know where your activity is at, and to help you honestly be more clear so you spend less time being wasteful, that you're just a few steps away and a few more diligent steps from making like $5,000 a month. You guys see kind of how the ranks go up here? I put down like the different steps someone would take in their business. Is a starting coach just getting started, and if they start 8 clients with their CAB bonus, they're going to make about $800 a month. Maybe $900 a month, like, if they're in that range. So that's a great place to start. If you're just doing the bare minimum of your 1,200 frontline volume, you're going to make like $400 a month just as a senior coach. Like, there's a big difference. The people that are doing the work, that's where your compensation's at. So then you can move to associate director and you realize that it's a lot higher just on average, no bonuses. The average blended path executive director is going to make, you can kind of see the mark here, between 15 and 25. And as you move over to executive director that's over volume and has maybe like 1 or 2 teams, that's going to be your income. But what people don't see is like the mix is when it spills over the top and you can now grab that frontline compensation, the full bonus compensation, and now the team compensation. Now you essentially doubled your income, you doubled your reach, and you like quadrupled your stability of your business just by taking a few extra steps. And we're not talking a lot of extra work. It just helps you know where to focus. And then, like, let's just say like your average fully integrated regional director, or executive director to regional director, if you're running a good amount of frontline volume, which you probably would to bring in those people, no one doing bare minimums, really, you're going to move at it slower if you do that. But at that rank, you're going to make between $4,500 and $7,000 just at fully integrated regional or executive director. And I put that all on there because that's the low end, you guys. Like, we're not even including national, where you guys can see you'll start making income on a percentage on your entire business. It doesn't include global, which all of these ranks leads you to that. Once you hit FIBC, what do you have the platform for? You have the platform for national and global. All you have to do is help those people that want to move forward understand this and help people to do that. People don't realize like the building effect they're missing out on. And I feel like if more people knew this, and honestly, Ashley, I'd probably say the reason why we moved fast on this is because Terry helped us understand this, and we knew where to put our time and effort into this. And I can tell you, it's not short-changing helping.
Crystal clear with us on, like, she was extremely crystal clear and very, like, open about this. And for sure, that's why we were globals in 17 months. Because team global at 17 months. I don't even know. Whatever happened, I knew like what I wanted to do, and I knew what was worth the priorities because she was so clear to us on this. And yeah, I mean, it didn't mean I understood it, but it meant that I was learning. Like, I was actively seeking and learning and asking and like doing the work to comprehend for myself, and Brad doing it for himself. So yeah, for sure. That's why we grew so fast.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are like, I don't know. Like, is it that you don't, which part are you guys looking for more clarity on? Like, that's our job, is to serve you. So which parts do you guys want to know more about?
Anyone can come off mute. Does anyone have any questions about anything? Like, literally, please, if you have a question, someone else is thinking it too. that's okay if you don't ask the questions. I think if anything tonight, and anyone can still come off mute at any time, I'm just looking at the chat, trying to catch up with it, is sometimes people, like, guys, let's just be 100% real here. Sometimes we look around and just be like, well, how come there's not more? Or how come there's not more people moving on? By the way, look at the rank advancements this month. We're making stuff happen. But honestly, why there's not more is because more people don't understand this. And more people don't understand where to work their business. And I mean, I could go on with all the reasons, but now that you understand this, now you can go do it. And like, that's what really makes it over time. So when you know how to build and you know where it's at, and then you learn the skill and you add in the skill of coaching and you learn your skill along the way, because I was absolutely horrible at talking to people about this and helping people. I was horrible. Like, Ashley, I still remember when we walked out of setting up our checking account with our Take Shape for Life business account, and I was trying to explain program to the teller, and you're like, you walked out of there and you're like, Brad, you know, you didn't make any sense in what you said there. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm still trying. You will learn this along the way. So when you understand where to go and what's possible and what to build and build your skill sets, you can get there over time. And I think, actually, additionally to here, I think the only thing that really helped us besides anything is, for some reason, you and I got into the mentality when we got started is that we were going to treat this like a 4-year college education, that we were going to start this and learn this craft no different than anyone that goes to school for 4 years. But instead of going into debt for multiple years, we were going to make income while we were learning our craft. And when we learned this helped us know where to focus our time. And when you know how to build and you know how to help people, the rest is just knowing how you want to do this. So now, this is the best jumpstart ever that Allison just said. I think that's what Allison just said, that hopefully now you can start saying is, where do I want my income to come from? What's on the table, and how do I'm going to structurally know I want to grow this way. You can add your own flair. If you want it to be more clients or you want to be more coaches, that's your prerogative. It's whatever is fun for you in your business. But now you can figure out from your buffet where you want your income to come from. And now you know what you're building towards. And now you're going to be intently focused on those things. So the other part of that is, we really, honestly, you guys, I think the topic of igniting wealth has really shed a light that very few people have ownership of this. And we want you guys to thrive in the areas like how we have been blessed to learn how to take care of wealth in our life. And only by understanding what you can make and understanding what your budget's at is how you can truly own your finances. So when we've been talking to people and they have no idea how they make, like a lot of people this last month that we've been doing this with, they were off by $1,000. How when you're trying to run a household, how are you off $1,000? I'm not judging you. I'm saying that this is why we're training on this. How can you literally run a budget when you don't even know if you're going to be in $1,000?
Can I talk about that too? A lot of the people like on that, how do you tithe if you don't know how much money? Like, for those of you that believe in like giving money away every month, how do you know how much money to give away? You don't know how much you're making. So how would you know? How do you know how to put away for, like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, we have to know this stuff.
Yeah, I'm just reading the chat here right now. So, and I know we have a lot of new people on here. Like, I can't remember who wrote in the chat. I closed the box. But we don't do sales. So none of this is based on sales that we do here. We assist clients to get started. And part of what makes this such a viable income is because when we assist clients to get started and we do it well, they don't go anywhere. I will actually disclaimer this for the new people. If you sell to people and you just get them to buy some product, but you're not like getting them integrated, you most likely won't have a client next month. That's just bad financial goals right there as well. Like, so you should be extra motivated to be a good coach so that your clients continue to do well and change their health. Like, so that they can be like Jan on my screen, like Christy or Tanya, like, or anyone on here has their own health journey. So that's why you're a good health coach, and that's why we don't do sales. It's all reinforced by Dan Bell's like genius.
I can tell you though, like, I am phenomenal at sales in other industries. So some of you may be killer at sales. We have to learn a different skill. Like, this really is the same skill set. So please don't think that like, oh God, I can't do this because I'm actually really good at sales. Like, don't get that in your head either. I could sell $100 bottle of shampoo when I worked at a spa. Like, that's crazy. But how I learned how to do it. So, I mean, whatever. So like, it's about service. Like, that's the transformational skills we talked about, is learning these service skills. If you sell like somebody that like, you're not really setting them up, and you just talk them into doing something, that's not really gonna, like Brad said, like that's not building stable either. So whether you're good at it or not, it really doesn't matter. It's not that skill set.
Yeah. So I think, we went pretty long on this call. I think we want to wrap a pretty bow around it. Unless anyone has any questions, we just want you guys to know the possibilities, to know to where to start doing this. Because a lot of people are still like saying, "Chat, like I still don't know how I get paid." If I could be so bold, and I want you guys to know, if you're new, that's probably where you're at. It comes with a loving heart. You have all the resources to figure out how you get paid. Go figure it out. Or go ask your mentor so you can know this stuff, because to not know where you're going to get paid or how you can go get paid is only wasting energy of your life, wasting finances, and wasting possibilities for you to reach more people. So go understand it. The only person that's limiting yourself is yourself. There's home office, there's us, there's a massive support team, or there's a document in the back office. You can go figure it out. We just showed you there's 3 areas to do it. So if you're at all unclear, one of the first things is grab your support team and figure this out. How much money do you want to make this month? Because it's all sitting right there in front of you. And also, I'll leave you guys with this as we wrap up here today with the Dominic Terranelli. Smart businessman, by the way. He way overestimated what he thought he could make in his first few years to Take Shape for Life. His first year, but he way underestimated what he could make in 4 to 5 years, or whatever his saying is. He didn't understand the massive reach that could happen by putting the right time into the right place, and how many lives that he would touch in that process of doing that. Because there's no shortchanging the lives change part, guys. That's honestly, no one got to the top by Jimmy rigging it. You can't do it. You just literally can't. So I think I see David and Sherry in the chat. Honestly, I've been talking about my mentors this entire time. If they can actually jump off and share any last piece of details, I'd love it personally.
Well, hey, everybody. Just, I was chatting with Brad and Dawn earlier today, and I knew they were planning this. Monday, hey, Wynn. Monday is our client support day, so David's doing that. But, oh my gosh, love this. Love listening to all this. Brad, love the 4-year college degree thing. Think about how many of you have a 4-year degree and have a whole lot of debt that went along with that, and didn't have a secure job, to on the other side of it. That's why I loved, oops.
Oops, I think we lost her.
Speaking of the 4-year degree, Brad, so something that I'm really passionate about is becoming not just a master of your craft, that sounds cliche, but expert level, and putting the time and effort into becoming an expert about your of your vocation. How many years in were we when we hit presidential?
3 years.
So in the 4-year degree, it's kind of funny how when we took it that seriously, by our junior year, we didn't have it all figured out. Presidentials don't have it all figured out, in case you didn't know. But if you really think about it, in the timeline, by our junior year of college, we were presidential directors.
Yeah. You guys, I want to just congratulate, and actually, yes, exactly to what you just said there. But what I want to congratulate you on tonight, whether this is your jam or it's not, some of you probably got something at a higher level of seeing what's possible. And honestly, just us knowing what was possible probably was a difference maker in this. I still remember Terry drawing those little bubbles for me, you build like this, and this is what's next. I still remember the email, because Ashley and I were on track for executive director in our 3rd month just by putting the work in. We had great layouts, and we just did the work. And I remember Terry being like, do you realize you're going to make $3,000, because it was our bonus? But she tracked that for us. And I remember right then and there, that was the awakening part. I was like, oh my God, we are helping people and we're getting paid that much. Are you serious? This is the greatest thing ever. Her helping us understand compensation, honestly, I don't want this to be this is the ripple effect. It's probably the reason why a lot of you guys are here today. And so I hope you guys is just as much in your business of what's possible for your life and where you can go next. So if you haven't yet figured out exactly where you're going next on this, that's what I would encourage you, because a lot of people think success looks like this. It ain't how it works. This is how success really looks. And if you pay attention to these diligent things and learn and ask the steps each month and learn what you need to know, and our coachable and teachable success can look more like that in this arena. But hopefully today was just one thing, at least encourage you to know where you get paid, what's possible, how to start calculating it. And you guys did do it. So hopefully you guys are blown away by like, holy cow, like Norma said, I didn't realize that most of my income came from my front line. And eventually it will come from your group volume if you keep doing the steps on this process. So
real quick,
yeah.
I personally, like, Brad is like he's like really gifted in this area. You put me in, like, I don't know, cooking, I could figure this out without you explaining much. This does not just like naturally, I just understand all of this. I work really hard to be good at this. And so if you did not walk out of this and you're like, what just happened? I mean, I want to get this, but like, was I supposed to totally understand this? No, you are not. Please, like, if your business is enormous, I mean, you're like a national director with like 10 levels deep or something, and you're not quite sure, let's play with a smaller business in your business and do the math on that to really show you, because you're like, if you're huge, it's probably too big to play with. I mean, on some of those like depthy things. So let's play around with like a smaller, more manageable business where you can really figure out the math, and then see how close your math is to what the final tally is of what they're actually making by the end, and see how close you can get. Like, you should not know this just from watching this video, like, at all. Like, there's way more to it. So please don't feel like, oh gosh, I don't know. Like, please, seriously, it wasn't that detailed.
And if anything you got from tonight, these are the top 3 things I would take away. Is now you know there's 3 buckets on how you get compensated. You know that there is like a cascading effect, and you can learn the process of where it comes from. And if anything, when you hop on at the beginning of the month, ask your support team what's next for your business and what's your next level of compensation. Feel free to express what you want next or what you're looking for. Because I will tell you, the last piece is, many of you guys have goals and desires for your life, and ultimate clarity on on that is what will help you get it. But adding a compensation thing, that just shows you where to work, and that's just adding more gusto to what you want in your life and how you're going to go get it. So understand what those next steps are, and know that it's not a dollars per hours. Most of us, we put in an extra hour of work, we get paid an extra, like we get that same compensation, and it goes away, and it's never coming back because we spent that hour, we're never getting back. In this, more time in this just means more lives changed, more income as it goes up, and more stability long term. And here's the last test of it. What's really cool, and I say this proudly again, if Ashley and I walked away, and we could, I want to remind you guys, we could walk away from our business. It's solid. We would never stop making any less probably than what we're making right now. But that's kind of the cool, that's the heart, is no one is doing this just for the paycheck. But that's stability right there. We have not only built us an income, but we can go away for a month and still make that income and still grow. We spent 3 weeks in Hawaii last month working from there. That is wealth generation right there, my friends. And that's what we want for all of you. And to be able to say that you guys did it by literally making a difference in people's lives, one person at a time. So that's what we got for you guys tonight. Kind of heavy, long call, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. So that's what we want you guys to know as you jumpstart your month. And start thinking about where you guys can be at a convention if you just take it 2 steps at a time. That's what I guess I feel like I'm ending here, but you don't feel like you need to go out and accomplish all this. Little steps add up over time. And if you remember one thing on top of that tonight, if you just focus on growing 1 point a month in your business, that will add up over time. 1 to 2 points a month. You don't think that's making a big impact, but it does. Carlene, I remember when you were a brand new coach, and look at you now. You're a global director. Like, you catch your fire, you catch your wins, you catch your understanding 1 step at a time. Like Denise, like, look at you. Congratulations, just 1 person at a time. Like, I remember when Nicole was your brand new client, and now look at her, she lost 60 pounds. One of your executive directors in your business. That's what we're doing here, 1 step at a time. It's just how much time and attention are you going to give to knowing your craft and how you're helping people. So now you know to ask the question. So now go build, go help more people, go create that life for yourself, guys. So hopefully this has been helpful for y'all. Ashley, anything you want to add as we finish up?
Nope, I got to put a little boy to bed.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you so much, guys.
You're welcome.
Night.
Good job, guys. Thank you very much.
Good night, guys. This was
Thank you.
awesome.
Good
Thank
night,
you
Jeannie.
guys so much.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll stay on here if anyone has any like one-off questions they want to ask tonight. Or just hang out. You're welcome, Maria. Congrats again on the great start.
Thank you.
Now you know why I was so excited when you hit manager your first month. Like, you know what's possible now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. You guys all have a great evening. Unless anyone else had any other specific questions for yourself, like I'm here. Yeah, Denise, did you have a question? You're muted.
Brian, did you have a question you wanted to ask? He's a numbers guy like you are, Brad.
Okay.
Put me on the spot. No, I'm going to go back. So this is being recorded. Am I able to go back and review it?
Yeah.
So
So we let me push